Having many options and choices can sometimes create a contradictory situation where the number of choices get in the way and limit our ability to choose. So today, I would like to talk about some of the things that matter to me about cameras. If you're wondering how to determine what type of camera to get, then this video is for you. Hi, my name is Jorge. Welcome. On this channel, we merge creativity and productivity to try to live a more fulfilling life. In today's video, we're not talking about what camera is the best or pitting one camera against another. It's more about critical thinking skills and how to arrive at your own conclusions. There seems to be a lot of videos out there telling people what camera to buy, or pitting cameras against each other. But the problem with that is that if you're a complete beginner, then you don't know how or why these people arrive at that conclusion. It's like copying the solution to a math problem or a piece of code. You may have the correct answer, but you have no idea how they arrived at it. Therefore, we do need to know what to focus on and what to consider in order to be able to arrive at our own conclusions and develop our critical thinking skills as well. So today, I would like to talk about some of the aspects of cameras that matter to me, what to focus on or what to think about when you're buying your first camera. Let's get started. If possible, start your journey with used equipment. I've made a video about the importance of purchasing used gear and you can watch it right here. But the point is that if you're an experienced photographer, you can cycle through gear a lot faster if it's used and it costs less money. It does not take anything away from your experience and it does not make you any less of a photographer, and you get the chance to use or play with equipment that is no longer in production. And that can teach you a lot about cameras and the history of photography as well. But used gear, specifically for complete beginners, minimizes the risk of your choices. In his book, The Paradox of Choice, Schwartz writes, "Learning to choose is hard. Learning to choose well is harder. And learning to choose well in a world of unlimited possibilities is harder still. Perhaps too hard." Buying your first camera can be frustrating and may require a lot of learning and research in general. Let's say you made a mistake and you bought the wrong camera. Which scenario is more painful? Buying a used camera that is only a couple $100s and you can easily resell in the online marketplace, or buying a brand new flagship camera that is $4,000 and now you're stuck with it. Good luck trying to sell that camera. There are several types of cameras out there. These cameras can achieve similar or different results. It's not a matter of which one is best, it's a matter of which one fits your needs best. You may not know much about cameras or be able to articulate what is it that you want. But perhaps there's a couple photographs that you recognize and you admire and you want to be able to replicate a group of photographers or a special photographer or filmmaker as well. And that can be a good place to start. You have film cameras, DSLR cameras, mirrorless cameras, point-and-shoot digital cameras, action cameras, among others as well. Each have benefits and drawbacks, cons and pros, and I definitely recommend you spend some time thinking about this before you choose a camera. For example, your parents or grandparents may have a couple DSLR lenses that you can reuse and start your journey from there. So for you, it makes sense to buy a DSLR camera and to be able to reuse that equipment and keep the costs down. Or perhaps you already know that the film aesthetic and quality is something that you really want to recreate and achieve yourself. Therefore, it makes complete sense to buy a film camera. Regardless of what you choose, always choose gear with your end goal in mind. What are you trying to achieve? What inspires you? What do you want to recreate or replicate or create with your images? And that can potentially light the path for you. A common mistake for beginners is to think that only the camera is what makes or breaks the photograph. Therefore, according to that logic, you need the best camera out there, whatever that means. And although cameras do play a role, lenses is what really matters. Lenses is what shapes the look and feel of a particular photograph and what really tie you down to a brand ecosystem as well, and the quality of the lenses available for any given brand before you even think about the camera. And even when you buy a camera that has a built-in lens, think about if that even matches your style. What's the point of buying an X100 series camera with a 35mm equivalent lens if you hate that focal length? What's the point of owning several lenses from one particular brand that you don't like or enjoy that much that only ties you down even further to that specific brand and limits your ability to try other things and other cameras and other manufacturers as well? So the lenses do matter quite a bit, even if they are built in, like this camera right here. That alone can be a reason to choose one brand over another, one system over another, and a repertoire of lenses that can potentially light your path and help you in your journey. This really matters to me. Photography can be linked to exploration, discovery, learning new things, traveling, moving overseas, and in those scenarios, would you rather carry a camera that weighs 5 kilograms or one that weighs 500 grams? So the size and the weight of a camera matters, but what about the shape of the camera? What about the placement of the viewfinder? Do you prefer a typical location of the viewfinder like most cameras out there? Most mirrorless cameras have the viewfinder placed in the same spot as a DSLR camera, but like the name suggests, mirrorless cameras don't have a mirror, so it does not have to be located there. Or do you prefer a rangefinder style camera? Is it easier for you to use with your particular face complexion and size? Do you enjoy using the optical viewfinder, or would you rather use an electronic viewfinder? And even if you do prefer a rangefinder style camera, you have to ask yourself, are you right eye dominant, left eye dominant? Do you wear glasses? Something small like that can really get in the way of your experiences and preferences as well. Actually, back up for a minute. Do you even need a viewfinder? Can you get by just taking photos like this and looking at the rear screen of the camera? Perhaps that's all you want, perhaps that's all you need, just food for thought. So specs can be important, but these don't define who you are as a photographer. Specs are normally used to measure the value of equipment and the progress of technology. And although you do want to be mindful of the camera that you buy and seeking one with specs that matter to you and help you in your process, specs alone do not matter and will not make you a good photographer. And this is where people spend most of their time and their energy and money trying to figure out what's the best camera, which one should I buy, why, what makes this one better over the other, so on and so forth. But the thing is that the spec chasers have a set of contradictory opinions. On one hand, they want to get the best of the best and they spend all the money they can get on the top tier equipment. But on the other hand, they want to be recognized by their results, not the gear. They want to take all the credit and they don't want you to praise the $4,000 camera they have or the $5,000 lens that they use for the photo. And to be honest, I would also get upset if somebody tells me that my images are good, ergo my camera must be expensive. It has happened before and it definitely stings when you hear that. You're like, But the thing is, I'm using a 10-year-old camera. So if people give me that sort of backhanded compliment, they're really complimenting my skills as a photographer, not the top tier gear that I'm using. Nevertheless, specs can be important. It can help you specialize in one aspect of photography or do one type of photography better or easier than having another piece of gear that does not help you. So it's important to plan accordingly and to think about what are you trying to achieve, what do you want to get out of your images, and choose specs accordingly to that. Just remember, specs will not make you a good photographer. Those are some of the things you might want to consider or keep in mind before you buy your first camera. It's not about which camera is the best, it's not about which one should I buy. It's about forming your own opinions and doing some critical thinking on your part as well. As always, I'm curious to know, what do you think? Do you normally buy used equipment, or have you ever purchased a brand new flagship camera? How do you feel about balancing that equation? Share your thoughts in a comment down below. But that is it for today's video. If you found this video helpful or valuable, please like and subscribe, follow me on Instagram, and join my free newsletter as well. Thank you very much for watching, for giving me your time and your energy, and good luck with your creative process.